Okay, folks, welcome back to yet another episode of Fresh Juice, an indie game podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Tommy Fresh, and joined as always, it is
Maddie Juice. What's going on, Tommy? Here we go. Let's get it right there.
Oh wait, no.
It's
I
fine.
tried
It's
to
fine.
touch the screen.
We'll get it right the next time. All right. But what's up, everybody? Episode 129. This is going to be a good one. What's on the menu today? What game are we talking about, Tommy?
It is going to be a good one. This is the episode where we review Skull Horde by 8-Bit Skull, a studio that brought us Board Blasters, which was a game we really loved a couple years ago. So excited to dive into this and give our review. It's we'll be talking a little bit more about that soon. We have the Triple I Showcase just happened, so we'll talk about some games that got us excited, and then we got a juicy take as well, and yeah, some news, some notable releases. We're gonna have a good time, I think, today. But
Yeah.
first, how's it going? How was your weekend?
Yeah, it was good. It was definitely a busy weekend. So let's see. On Saturday, what was I doing? Saturday, I was on daddy duty because a lady, Juice, and her sister went to go see Harry Potter and the Cursed Child
Ooh,
in New York City. I guess is that Broadway, right? Yeah, it's on Broadway, I
yeah,
guess. Um,
sure.
and because Tom Felton was like reprising his role as Draco in the Broadway show for the first time. So they didn't get to meet him, but I think she got like a signature from the guy who was playing Ron. And yeah, so I was on daddy duty for like the whole day. Basically, we went out. I was with my parents as well, so I had a little help. But we went out, I don't know, to check out this thing that's supposed to be for my daughter that like ended up not being what we thought it was, or she just is way too young for it. And then we went to Uncle Giuseppe's. You ever been to Uncle
Yeah.
Giuseppe's? Yeah.
Oh, I frequent Uncle
Yeah.
Giuseppe's.
Do you? That's the first time I've ever been there. For those who don't know, it's like a big, like kind of Italian market with like food you can get, like on demand, and then it's like a grocery store kind of too, and there's a deli and a bakery and all that sort of stuff. But it's really good. First time I was there, I've heard people talk about it. There's some other ones around us that are like other names, but this one, Uncle Giuseppe's, was like the best. Like I
Yeah.
just had it was delicious. I just had some pizza. They had a guy singing, walking around, which is kind of weird. He's like, as we walked in, he's like, tap on my window. He's singing like Maroon 5, but it's got like an Italian track behind it. It was just so interesting. I got some cookies and yeah, just walked around. Baby had a good time. Then we went over to like this kind of secondhand baby store, which it was awesome. There's a lot of stuff there that's like really cheap. That's really nice. And then, yeah, just kind of picked up some drinks because I knew Saturday night I'd be playing some Winrows. I was fortunate enough to get an early copy of the game. For those who don't know, it is an upcoming survival game, of course. Actually, it'll be out by the time this episode comes out, but it's pirate themed. And I really enjoyed the demo. I put a video up of it, and I was able to get some extra keys. So me and some buddies Saturday night, we were playing for a while. It was awesome. It's been a while since I've had like, a few hours kind of strung together to play a game that I'm like really into. So that was a lot of fun. We had a great time. And then I also recorded some content on Sunday that is for Winrows that should be coming out, or should be out by the time you guys listen to this. We also had to do my daughter might need like a helmet, um, which is
Oh.
like, it's kind of like one of these new helmet things, but her
Oh,
head's
that
just
helps
kind
shape the
yeah.
head more.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like her head is like even the guy was who we had a free like consultation. He's like it's hard to tell unless like they do the measurements. Then they're like, okay,
Mhm.
like it's purely cosmetic. It's totally up to us. Like we don't have to do it. but they said she'd have it on for like a few months, and we're like, we might as well just do it now, right? Like, she won't remember, right? So, yeah, so we're looking to get that like fit for her and all that stuff. So that'll be pretty funny looking at her with the helmet on, but you know, it's not like really a helmet. It's just kind of like a brace thing that kind of goes around your head. Um, that it's kind of open on the top. But anyway, so we did that on Sunday, and then yeah, today is just kind of working. It honestly felt like the weekend flew by, but I'm super stoked for the launch of Winrows. I'm working on some more content for it. Feels good. Like I feel like every now and then there's like a survival game I'm really into where I have just like a plethora of content I can make. So it's kind of like it happens in these bursts. So I'm trying to take advantage of it, and I'll talk about it more during the pod because there's some other stuff that I'll kind of will make me bring it up, like some stuff in the rec room and all that. But yeah, so that's how my weekend went. It was just kind of video games and a lot of baby stuff. So it's good balance there. And Uncle Giuseppe's, of course. Yes,
Uncle
delicious
G's.
Italian food. Which, by the way, very funny. At least this one we went to. The first thing you see, like you go into Uncle Giuseppe's and you turn to the right, and there's like a sushi guy
Yeah,
that's in
yeah.
there, and I'm like, why? Like, I mean, I'm sure it's not bad, but I'm like, who is going to Uncle Giuseppe's and being like, I want the sushi? You know, it just seems out of place compared to everything else in the store. But yeah, it was good. It was good.
Yeah, yeah. I think all the Uncle Giuseppe's have a sushi section, but I like tomorrow I will be staying in a hotel by an event that I have for work, and it's the hotel's right next to Uncle Giuseppe's.
Oh,
So I'm
nice.
like, I get there, I get some food for the room for when I
Hmm.
get back from my event, so I can be like, oh, let me, maybe some like mozzarella. Like I'm just like making like a bruschetta in there,
Yeah,
and
yeah. In the the hotel mini fridge, just pulling
yeah,
out like
yeah,
charcuterie.
yeah. Here's some Parma,
Yeah.
but yeah, I love Uncle Giuseppe's. But my weekend was busy. I had mommy, mother fresh. I don't know, mommy fresh. She stayed here for a couple of days. She actually just left.
Nice.
Um, she was up visiting. So Thursday she was here. I made dinner, and then Friday we all went out to dinner for my sister and her boyfriend's birthdays. They have close birthdays, so did that. That was cool. Really, I mean, it's just like one of my favorite restaurants. This place called Piazzi in Frenchtown, New Jersey. It's like Italian, like everybody in there like has the strongest accent you've ever heard, and they are just making this is like this is my recipe, or like I feel like every waiter in there is like, this is my recipe. It's like, all right, somebody's like, one of these, it has to be the chef's recipe,
Right. Who's back there making the food if you guys are
who's
all out
back there.
here?
Yeah, so it's good though. It's awesome. But did that and then woke up mad early next day to go down to Atlantic City for the last Atlantic City Beer Fest, and I worked it. It was a long day. I was up at 3:30 in the morning, and I was in bed around 2 a.m. the next morning. So Sunday, needless to say, I was toast. I was so tired. Tried the nap, couldn't do it, but held through. My sister and her boyfriend came over and for dinner, and we did like game night. We played Magical Athlete. We played Hot Streak. I watched her boyfriend sell a Black Label Charizard for $72,000 in an auction. So that was pretty interesting. Dinner was on him.
Yeah, yeah, right. As
But
I was just
yeah,
picturing you just like eating ramen while like he's just selling a piece of cardboard for $70,000. Be like, what am I doing wrong?
yeah,
That's
yeah, yeah.
that's crazy. I know you sent a snap of it, and I knew that there were cards that were that expensive, but
Hmm.
I honestly didn't think it would be like something where you said he bought it for like $160,
Yeah, so he
basically, and
bought
flipped
it for
it.
160 bucks. he looked at it. He's got a really good eye for like what will grade well, right? And he looked at it and said, "This is really good." And I'm like, I'm gonna get this graded. Got it graded. I think it came back like a 9.5. But he's like, no, this is 100% a black label. So like, black label with this company is like perfect, pristine. Like it's better than a 10. It's like a 10 on all fronts.
Gotcha.
So
It's a certified fresh juice.
It's a certified fresh juice beyond, you know.
Plus.
So he basically resubmitted it and would like request a review of it or whatever,
Like an
over and over
appeal
again.
kind of thing.
Yeah, like basically appealed it. And I think after like 10 tries, he got the black label. And this is not, it wasn't even an old card. It was from like 3 years ago, the Pokemon 151 set that came out, which is not in print anymore. And it was the most popular card from that set. It's the chart. You might have seen it if you played like the TCG Pocket when it came out.
Yeah.
It's like the Charizard flying in the background with like the pink clouds.
The X, Charizard X or whatever.
It might have been. Okay. Yeah. But
yeah.
They're out of like 3,600 copies or something like that. It's the only black label in the world. That's why it sold for that much.
But who didn't know what they had, basically, and sold it for $160? Like, was it online? Was it in person?
It was in person. I mean, like, wow. Here's the thing. It's a lot of work to go get it graded and know when it should be graded. You know, like that card normally is $160, like if it's not graded. So it's not like he, gypped him or whatever, right? He like paid him what he owed, but like that person just didn't want to go through the process of getting it graded. He should have.
Yeah, I mean, it seems to me like, all right, like if that card was worth like $2,000, if you got it graded, I'd be like, all right, it's probably not worth trying to go back and forth and trying to get it graded. Like maybe, but like if you knew it was worth like, $70,000, I would be like, I'm going to keep getting this graded until I spend whatever I need to spend.
But my sister's boyfriend this is what he does.
He's a pro,
right?
Yeah.
He's a pro, so he knows, he has a good idea. He's like, he also knows that there is no black label of that card. So he was like, well, it's worth trying, and he has the resources because he does it all the time to like get it reviewed and stuff like that. Like I think all in, it was like $1,400 he spent before he even got it to be black label. So pretty crazy. That was pretty cool. But he and then like he just got something else graded, and it was a 10 out of 10 formal invite to the Fresh Juice Discord that we have, and it's free for everybody to join. Wow. You don't need to get the black label for that. We are a podcast of the people, folks. So
we're giving away black labels. That's what we're doing. If you join, we'll send you one.
But anywho, we got a great show for you all. We're going to start off with our juicy take of the week, which I think it's my turn.
It is.
And I started thinking about this when I was looking at some of the games from the III showcase that we're going to talk about in a sec. My take is
none of them had stories. Sorry,
none of them have stories, and I hate them all. Anyone that's trying to tell a story, we will see a new genre change gaming by the end of the year.
Ooh, do you have any inkling of what that genre might be, or you think it'll just come out of left field?
I think so. There is a game, and we'll talk about it. And Lost Railway has this quota horror. They're calling it a quota horror, which is like I had never really heard that term. I guess there might be a couple games, but that genre allegedly is like usually you have to do a lot in a certain deadline or collect X amount of things in the deadline and get out of there. I think that like, I'm just thinking about like, that sounds like a lot of fun, and it's kind of what would you say? Not. It's like it seems like it's related to the extraction
Yeah, it
type.
reminds me of like Dead by Daylight, where you need to like
Yeah.
start the generators in order to open the exit to escape, kind of
Mm-hmm.
thing. But that's obviously like a asymmetrical multiplayer, and I don't think this is like a co-op game
Yeah, this is
where
a
you'd have to do
co-op,
that.
so
Yeah.
I think that we're going to, and I think like extraction shooters are so popular. I think we're going to see a spin on that,
Hmm.
like a spin off, like it perfected, right? Like it's just like this thing that like exists, but somebody's going to be like, hey, this is fun, but it's missing X, Y, and Z. We're going to make that. And we'll see that by the end of the year.
You know, I like that idea, especially, I'm thinking imagine a PvE extraction game where you
Mm-hmm.
need to complete certain tasks in order to extract rather than just hitting a button and waiting for like something to come get you or
Yeah.
waiting in a certain area. Where it's almost like I guess in a way it could be like Helldivers where like you
Mm-hmm.
sort of have to do that kind of stuff. But yeah, I think that's a pretty good take because I don't think there's a lot of games out there that kind of are in that genre. That I've never heard
Mm-hmm.
of quota like used as a term for like a genre, or at least to describe a horror game or an extraction game. But yeah, I could see that popping up more often. I will say when I saw and I know we'll talk about Triple I. When I saw the Lost Railway trailer at Triple I wasn't entirely sure what was going on. So I had to
Oh
go to the
yeah.
Steam page and be like, "Oh, okay, this is kind of how it works." Um, yeah, so I think that's a good take. I think it's a good one.
Yeah, it's like I did some research on it. I mean, it primarily seems to kind of exist in the horror genre. There's a game called Crab Meat that is, I think, kind of popularized it a little bit. But like just doing a quick Google search, I found only a few games that were even like kind of like at least saying that they were doing that. So
Yeah.
this could be the next big thing, quota horror. I also like the idea, like a 2D horror game, first of all, is very interesting to me because how scary can that really be, right?
Yeah.
Like most horror games are kind of first person or at least third person. And, but like I think the elements of horror can be used in a lot of different ways. So we'll see.
Yeah.
That's my juicy take. Let's talk about the Triple I showcase. So there was a lot of stuff that they covered. I love it. They just freaking go, go, go. And, just hit so many games back to back to back
Yeah.
to the point I was like watching in my car while I was working. Not, I wasn't driving, but I was like parked outside of an account and I was like, all right, I got to go into this account, but this keeps going. There's so
Hmm.
many games. So, what were your thoughts?
Yeah, I was overall pretty pleased with it. I actually I hopped on a little chat with some of the Jester, like other content creators, and we kind of watched it together because there were some games in it that we knew would be in it because we were kind of working on like videos for it. So we were kind of waiting for it to end so we could like post the videos. But so I watched like the whole thing, and I was really happy with it. I also love like it's just one thing after another. It reminds me, I don't know why, like in between some of the trailers, it just gives me like Adult Swim vibes, right? Where they kind of
Mm-hmm.
give you a little message, but a little music, and then you're right into the next trailer. They give you a little breather. So yeah, I really love this showcase. Just in general, I think it's been growing every year too. I don't know for sure. I haven't looked at the numbers, but it feels like when I look at the YouTube numbers, at least, seems like it's pretty significant. And I think it's just going to keep growing, especially with some of the games they've had in here. Like Winrows was obviously in there. That game's got over 1.5 million wish lists. So like, there's a lot of people interested in that game. They had Astroneer Expeditions, I think it's called, something like that, which looked really cool. Shout out to Kmore, actually messaged me about it before the Triple I showcase. He saw it was announced, so that looked awesome. Yeah, they kind of have a good variety too. Obviously, Graveyard Keeper 2's in there. We Were Here Tomorrow. I saw a lot of people hyped about this game Valor Mortis, which is like a first
Mm-hmm.
person Souls like kind of game. Seems like a lot of people were interested in that one. And then they've had some weird games too, like Prove You're Human. This one is
Oh yeah.
like I don't know what's going on with this, but I'm pretty sure I added it to my wish list because I was like, this just looks wild. I don't know really what's happening. They're filling out captures. They're in like a Windows XP background kind of vibe. I don't know what's going on. Um, and then the Solar Punk is another one that like I've had my eye on. I've played the demo for that. That's a kind of a cozy survival game. But yeah, they have a good variety here, and I'm just this to me is becoming the thing that sort of kicks off like the game announcements for the year, right? Because come
Mm-hmm.
June, first week of June, we have the Summer Game Fest, and I think there's things in between now and then that'll happen as well in May. So to me, this is kind of becoming that thing that, yeah, just like we're in that video game announcement season now. And yeah, I was a big fan of it this year. Even if there weren't games I was interested in, I'm still a big fan of the way they present the game. So yeah, but did you end up, looking any deeper into any of the games you saw? Because I know you were on the go when it was live. Any games catch your eye?
Well, I had Neverway on my wish list. I think since the last Triple I, and I saw that there's a prologue, so I might check that out, or I might try to go into the game blind because I am really interested for it,
Yeah.
or in it. But Clover Pit is another one that has going to have a DLC. That was exciting, and it looked like it could have been just like a straight up a new game. Like for some of the like actual things that I saw in the trailer, I was like, "Is this a new game?" But
Yeah.
this is a game that I play a lot of on my phone, so I don't know if it's going to come out on the phone part, but I do have it on PC, so maybe I'll be jumping for the DLC. Um, Crop was a game that kind of looked pretty interesting.
Yeah.
This one was like kind of giving me horror Stardew Valley. Like I mean, like obviously Graveyard Keeper is kind of like that, but like this one has a little bit more of that realistic horror elements to it. Looked pretty interesting.
Yeah.
I mentioned Lost Railway. That one I think is the one that I'm number one most interested in. I feel like it could be like a lot of fun. And I haven't really gotten into the extraction thing so much, but like I like the idea of doing this 2D and like kind of seeing how they explore horror in like with like cute animals as the main characters. I think
Yeah.
that's kind of a fun thing. So very interested in that. I actually signed up for the playtest, so hopefully I get in. And what else? Graveyard Keeper 2 is very interesting to me. And then I think for the most part, some of the stuff was not really for me, but I'm probably gonna play Castlevania, right? I think that just looks sick.
Yeah.
I never played the first Don't Starve, but there were people really hyped about that.
Yeah.
The second game of Don't Starve as well. But the funniest one to me, I think, was Final Sentence.
Yeah.
That one looked insane. This one's like is it like a typing game? And like if you don't do it on time, you just get like shot.
Yeah.
I
So
don't know.
think of it as like it's a battle royale. Think like Tetris 99, but it's typing. So if you get typos, you die. So everyone, yeah, this, I don't really know how exactly it works in terms of like what you're typing, but I know a lot of the Jester guys were like excited about this one because this game went a little viral at the end of
Mhm.
last year. I think they had a play test or something like that, and now it's out. So it seems like people were really liking it. But again, really cool to see like a fresh take on a genre that's kind of been beaten to death, basically. No pun intended. But yeah, it's a really wild one. I also was this game has a good amount of hype. I've heard a lot of good things about it.
Yeah.
Far Far West. This is like Helldivers space. It's an extraction game, but you're playing as these kind of like robot skeleton cowboys, sort of.
Yeah.
But I've heard this one is a ton of fun. I haven't been able to play it yet. I think they've, I guess it's about to come out at the end of the month, but they have had play tests in the past that people have said are really good. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah. But also, this is Risk of Rain 2 DLC announced. Like, isn't this is wild, right? I'm not a big Risk of Rain guy. Like, I've never played it, but this game came out in 2020,
6 years ago.
6 years ago. Overwhelming. I know people love it, and it seemed like people were freaking out that there was like a new expansion for like a Halloween expansion, which is
Yeah, yeah.
also like weird time. Like, it better come out around Halloween. Oh no,
Yeah,
sorry,
must.
Hallowed Concepts, but whatever. It reminded me of
Yeah.
Halloween. But yeah, that was also another one that was cool. I think it's, there's a lot of variety here, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
Also,
Yeah.
just not in the sense of even like just the genres, but also some are full games, some are DLCs for games that are
Mm-hmm.
beloved, right? Like, they do a good job with that. And I also know Sledding Game. I've been following this guy on TikTok for a while. It was cool to see he got a trailer. I think it's a solo
Yeah.
dev. That just is kind of cozy, just fun game. I could see me booting this up and playing with like Lady Juice, and once my daughter's old enough, just having some fun playing this one. But yeah, yeah, cool stuff. Triple I.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
think one other one I want to shout out is Long Gone. Um,
yeah,
this one's like a couple years out, or not a couple years, but it's like it planned to be released in 2027. But the trailer was pretty excellent. So like, I don't. This looks like a full scale like adventure game zombie thing. Love the pixel art. Just so much depth. I thought it was just going to be like straight up 2D runner based on the trailer, but then they kind of expand. It's like there's so much going on in this. So
yeah,
this is one to kind of keep your eye out on for too. So
yeah. For sure. I think this is another one that was on my list. Like, it just looks amazing, like visually, and it's kind of that aesthetic that it's that like survival game aesthetic as well that like I'm just kind of
mm-hmm.
into. So this one, yeah, just seems really really dope. And then also just another thing with crop too. Sorry, just crop. There's not a crop two. But it's when I first looked at this game, because I did make a little video on this one, I was thinking Stardew Valley as well, and this is like a story game though.
Oh,
Yeah, so
interesting.
there's like I think it's like a 15 to 20 hour story or something like that, where you're trying, the crops. Essentially, you're being judged based on how well you are dealing with the crops, and if you don't do well, like, people die. But there's actually like a secret to unravel here, like, of why you have to do these things, and so there's a full kind of story to it. But I have seen some people say that they wish there was like an endless mode of this game, and I
Oh,
honestly think
interesting.
I might be more into it if there was an endless mode, and it was a little bit more like Stardew, where it's a little more open ended, but still a really cool approach for like, you know, a lot of farming games. I think I mentioned this in the video, but a lot of them have cozy vibes, right?
Yeah.
This definitely does not. This is like, a little terrifying. So it's a cool concept. It seems like people are really latching on to this one as well. And maybe that's also, in tying into your juicy take, you know, maybe taking a genre that's known for kind of one thing and
hmm
changing it slightly, right? Like they're adding a horror element here. Maybe that's something we start to see more of as well, where, typically there might be a genre that kind of has a certain vibe to it, and then now there's going to be a new game that has a completely different vibe, but the mechanics are kind of similar. So, yeah, we'll see. That might be something else that ends up happening.
Yeah. Basically, I had the best juicy take of all time,
Yeah,
and
it's
no, it
true.
was a really good showcase, and I think it was like even better than last year's.
Yeah.
So very very cool. Now let's get to some notable releases this week. Winrows
Oh,
which you already talked about,
yeah.
um, is coming out. When is that coming out?
It's coming out April 14th, tomorrow, as of when we're
Ooh.
recording this. Coming out in early access. But what is awesome about this, so I'll talk a little bit about it. I know I already talked a bit about it, but this is, they have about 30 islands in the game so far. They've got about 50 to 70 hours of like story content. There's side quests, there's Tortuga, there's NPC factions you can join. You got ship battles. It's all PvE as well. There's no PvP. Um, there's like tons of weapons you can get. There's a good amount of content, and they've said it's going to be in early access for like a year and a half to 2 years. And currently, the early access build of the game is about 50% of what they want. So
Wow.
that seems pretty awesome to me, especially since like there seems to be a lot of content in it already. I mean, 30 islands is quite a bit. There's like the islands are procedural, but the points of interest on the island, there's about 90 of them. Those are handcrafted. So it really feels like when you go to a new island, there's like a new type of puzzle you haven't seen before, or a new way to access an area. It doesn't feel like super cookie cutter, which a lot of these kind of pirate games can feel. Even Sea of Thieves can feel like that at times. So yeah, I just think it's really awesome that it's like basically only half done, and it feels like there's a lot of content there. So yeah, shout out to Winrows. Shout out to Winrows.
Yeah, it looks cool. It's not really my genre, as you know, but I know you guys have been playing it and been having a good time, so that's
Yeah.
pretty exciting. Another game that's been pretty hyped up that is
Ooh.
coming out this week is Mouse PI for Hire. Uh, yeah, I mean this just looks great. I mean these hand drawn 30s, I guess, 1930s style games. I mean, like it's got the whole noir thing with the PI for hire. Steamboat Willie is getting out here and doing whatever it's gonna be. I love that boomer shooter is an actual tag
Yeah.
as well. This one would be cool. I mean, I think people are gonna love it. I don't know if I'll be playing it, but it's definitely one to keep an eye out on.
Yeah, this game is one that I feel like it's been teased for a long time, and I just hope it lives up to like what people have been expecting out of it. I also do think that the dumb side of the internet is going to just keep accusing this game of like using AI, right? Because you just see a lot of like
Mm-hmm.
I've seen at least a lot of things in this art style that it's like, oh, what
Mm-hmm.
if this game looked like this? And it's just like using AI. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
hoping they can kind of avoid that conversation because it does, it's been in development for a while. It seems, like there's a lot of different things going on. Hopefully pretty polished. I've heard some good feedback from like the play tests they've done. I don't know if it's my kind of game either. It's a little busy for me, but curious to see what the reviews are when it comes out because it's definitely been a long wait. I feel like I maybe first saw a teaser for this like 5 years ago, maybe.
Oh yeah.
So it's been a while, but uh, yeah, yeah, pretty cool. It's finally coming out.
Very nice. And then this game, I think we saw at the Triple I last year, maybe the first Triple I replaced
Yeah,
a pixel 2D platformer. Just like looks beautiful, man. I mean, I didn't even realize it was coming out this week, and I'm actually now. I think I know what I'm going to be playing because it's Steam Deck verified. So that seems like an awesome game to be playing on the Steam Deck. But this just looks so good, right? It's just giving me the freaking Blade Runner vibes.
yeah,
Yeah, this game looks incredible.
yeah. It really does, and I think from what I've seen with the trailers and stuff, I really like that they like play with perspective a lot in this kind of game. I feel like typically when you see these sort of side scrolling games is they're almost kind of stuck in a particular perspective, but you see like the camera
Mm-hmm.
switching, like the depth of field changing, and it kind of makes these like really cinematic moments. um and yeah, I mean, this honestly reminds me of how beautiful the what was that game Long Gone is, like,
Long gone. Yeah, yeah.
maybe that's something we start to see more of, these kind of side scrolling, like, I don't know even know what to call this art style, but
Like
it's
a yeah, it's like Pixel
cyberpunky.
Plus.
Yeah, Pixel Plus. Yeah, there you go, Pixel Plus. That's kind of what it feels like. But yes, I think this was at Triple I one of the first 2 years. So if you play it, let me know what you think.
Yeah, yeah, I have it on the wish list. So yeah, this one might be. This one might be. I don't know. That's just it. Just looks so good. Like if it really looks as good as it does in these trailers, I mean, this is going to be like insane. So
Yeah.
very exciting. And then what else did we have here? We had Tap Tap Loot.
Yeah, so this one already came out, and the reason I'm putting it on here is it had a ton of wish lists. Like that's usually, or a ton of follows. It's like almost like 200,000. I was like, what is this game? It's another kind of desktop, like, obviously I think all these are desktop companion games. I know I mentioned like the desktop driller last week, but this one seems like it has more. Going on for it. At least I think that's what this game kind of is. But it's it says the world is under attack. Every tap fights back. Each keystroke unleashes your cute cat hero, smashing enemies and showering you with loot. And then dive into a never-ending desktop expedition with friends or solo. So things just happen as you're typing. And I kind of feel like, is this going to be a really popular genre this year? These kind of desktop companion apps that are just, you know, based on what you're typing, things are happening. I'm kind of curious, like what else people can do with this sort of mechanic.
Yeah, this one's crazy. Also, I just can't stop laughing at the idea. You were like, I know I talked about the desktop driller last week. It sounds like a killer.
Yeah, they gotta watch out for the desktop driller. It's a new Trojan virus.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Scranton Strangler or whatever. Yeah, this looks cute. I don't think this is for me, but I think people will like it. Like it's already got 72 positive reviews, so that's yeah, whatever. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, not really for me either. Like what I found, at least with desktop driller, it's like, yeah, it's cool that I'm just like working and like something is going on the side, but it's like I'm not really playing the game, like I want to kind
Yeah.
of play. Even like Norb Apolog, I feel like I'm playing it at least.
Hmm.
So I don't know. Maybe there will be a game that's like a desktop companion that wins us over because of something that it does. You never know. But I for right now, yeah, I'm kind of not into these sort of games, but it seems like a lot of people are.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
but c'est la vie for Tap Tap Loot. Let's talk about the game of the week, though.
Ooh.
Skull Horde. Now, Skull Horde, as I said in the beginning, is by 8-Bit Skull, developed and published by them. It's on Steam. Price is $12.99, 25% off until April 24th. Excuse me. It's an auto battler dungeon crawler where you play as a flying skull necromancer, find powerful loot, and create overpowered builds. Summon a horde of skeletons in a battle of bone versus flesh.
Yeah.
This is this one's interesting. It's like I think in a lot of ways you'd be like, hey, this is just a Vampire Survivors like or something like that. But then you have like this kind of RTS style of like getting your minions and stuff like that. You have some control over them. You can bring them to you. You're basically the skull that's floating around, and you're like auto shooting or whatever. But you're also the one that can, call all the minions to you. They generally follow you, but they will auto battle like close enemies and stuff like that. And you also have like an ability. So like the first character you play as has an ability that will like charge up. You press, whatever button, whether you're using keyboard or controller, and it gives all of the nearby allies frenzy, which basically makes them attack faster for X amount of time. So, cool thing about this game is you're going through multiple rooms in this dungeon until you get to the final boss. The difficulty increases as time goes on, right? So if you take a lot of time in one room, the difficulty will keep climbing up, and you'll get to that last room, and it will be impossible. So you have to kind of balance, you know, speed and also like resource management and all this other stuff, to kind of like get to a point where your army is strong enough to handle the final boss. Now, you have X amount of slots. I think is it 6 slots or maybe it's 8 of different kinds of units you can have, and in between rooms you can recruit more units, but you can only recruit ones that fit into the slots you already have. So if you have an archer in one slot, whenever you get another archer recruitment, it'll go to that slot. And then once there's 3 of them, they get leveled up into one bigger one. And then so on and so forth. If you get 3 again and it gets to that, and or actually 6 more, that will combine for an even bigger unit that is a champion or whatever. So they all have different kinds of like I guess like classes. Like they're all different classes, but they have like different class like identifiers, like ranged or melee or like defensive. And if you get 3 of those, you complete an oath, which will give you a buff. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of this that's it's similar to like a survivor like, but like I feel like there's so much more going on, right? Like there's different kinds of missions that you can be presented with as you're playing, saying like, hey, if you do this mission, you'll get like a legendary item to buff up your team, but it's going to be very hard. Or you get a legendary item for losing a bunch of life off your team. Now, how do you lose is the question. So you have 3 lives, and you lose a life when your whole army dies. Now, the army does respawn, but as more units are killed, it can only respawn 1 unit at a time. So there'll be a timer on 1 unit, and then when that completes, they'll respawn, and then it goes to the next one, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So there's a balance there in trying to basically say, hey, like I'm about to lose everybody. Let's go run away from these enemies so I can respawn and like kind of do that. But if you wait a long time, the general difficulty of the run is going to increase as well. So that's my, I guess, like basic overview of the gameplay. How did I like it? I love it. I think this is so much fun. I was jamming it for like a couple hours. It was really interesting. It was difficult at times, but also like really satisfying when you get like a really good team together, and you find like really cool like objectives to do, or really cool items to kind of combine and get your team to like have a certain kind of build. You could be like, oh, we're gonna load up on armor, but we don't care about dodging, right? It's like we're gonna be like a tank. Like that's just what we're gonna do. And we're going to have heavy damage, but not fast damage, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So really cool game. I think it's a fun twist on like a lot of different genres, kind of all coming together. And there's a lot of unlockables. Like, I was unlocking tons of different units by doing certain objectives. I unlocked a few more characters and a few more areas to kind of explore. So so far, really just enjoying the gameplay of this game. It's fun. It feels fresh, and I'm excited to kind of continue to play because I just want to unlock everything. To be honest, it's one of those games that you can kind of say, "Oh, I'm going to do a run," and unlock some things or try to like build up the skill tree, et cetera, et cetera. So, big fan of the gameplay. Here, Matt, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think this is the worst game I've ever played. No, yeah, I'm with you. Like, I think going into this game or just looking at the gameplay, because I did play the demo a little bit, but if you just looked at the gameplay, you would think, okay, this is like another Survivor like, but and there are similar elements, but I think the main difference for me, and the game even kind of tells you this, is that you don't want to be on the front lines as the main character. You want all your minions to do kind of the work for you. So it
Mm-hmm.
kind of changes the dynamic of like how you're approaching entering rooms and how you're going to deal with enemies. You're kind of maybe focused a little bit more on like collecting things and letting your enemy, letting your minions deal the damage, and then obviously monitoring them and upgrading them and using your ability as well so you can help kind of clear out rooms. And your character does, at least the first character, like does have an attack as well, so you can help in the combat side of things, but you're definitely taking a little bit more of like a backseat with the combat than you would in a game like Vampire Survivors. So I think that's like a major difference that I really like, because it adds so much more variety, because you're not just choosing a different main character. Like you said, like you're building a different army around you as well. So it's just a lot more variables with each run, and with each even just like between each room, you can kind of feel like, oh, we've really upgraded, a certain character like the Carver or whatever. And you can really kind of tell the difference as you're going between the rooms when you start to get these upgrades. So I think that's great. It adds a lot of variety. I also really like that the areas or the different levels aren't like too big, because
Hmm.
there, like you said, there is that time limit where it's what is it, like every 30 seconds it gets harder, because
Hmm.
there's like an hourglass that flips every 30 seconds, I think, at least in this like first level or first world. So you want to, like you said, balance. Okay, should I explore everything? Should I see the portal, it's right there, things are getting hard, but it never felt to me like I missed like a complete area because I needed to get to the next room.
Hmm.
There are cool things too that you can do, where if you don't want to move to the next room yet, you can like I found like a treasure vault, right? You go in the treasure vault and it's just a lot of chests in that level. It's kind of like a little bonus level. There's little bonus levels like that which are really cool. It's pretty exciting. So yeah, I'm a big fan of the gameplay here. Like I think that, you know, uh once you start unlocking different types of enemies, and obviously the different main character, or sorry, different types of minions, and obviously different types of the main character, but even the different minions give you like different ideas of like, oh, the next run, like I'm going to try to build around this new minion I got that like he deals a lot of damage, but he doesn't attack that often. So maybe we're just going to have like a huge, we'll build an army of minions that just deal a lot of damage at once, and we can like take down enemies a lot quicker, bigger enemies a lot quicker. Like there's cool things you can do and think of as you unlock the different types of minions. But yeah, I think the gameplay here is, it's almost like very casual, like more casual than Vampire Survivors kind of, but also something you still need to like pay attention to, because all right, it's like an auto battler, so your minions are doing a lot of the work, but you also just can't, uh, you can't let them take a lot of damage, because then you'll end up losing life. I think you even can lose life if the main character gets damaged enough. I think there's a health. Is there a health bar for the main character too, or there's a
Um,
there's a
there.
bar underneath the your lives, and I couldn't tell if that was my health or if
I
that
think
was
it's
the
your
health of
total
the
health.
pool of
Yeah.
health for everybody.
Hmm.
But yeah, so I did enjoy the gameplay. I'm excited to play more. It also is one of those games that I want to, you know, try to unlock more things, try more interesting builds. I'll be honest, when it came to like upgrading, your minions, I was just buying everything. I was like,
Oh yeah, yeah.
like I was just like, because after you do it the first time, if you don't spend all the money, it's like, oh, the game tells you, it's like, I noticed you didn't spend money. Like that, could be fine. Maybe you're saving up, but it could be risky. And I was like, all right, every time after this where I can upgrade minions, I'm spending everything. And it ended up
Oh
paying
yeah.
off, because they just get so much stronger. But at a certain point, because you can keep re-rolling, and it's like, it's like 1 credit to reroll, two, like it's super cheap. And then you can even get things that, like I had like the first 3 rerolls were free. So
Hmm.
I'm just buying minions and upgrading things. And I think that process could maybe be a little bit more like streamlined, maybe, where maybe you're getting more than 3 options or something, or maybe that isn't like, maybe that's something you can get where there's more than 3 options. because at a certain point I was just like reroll, upgrade, 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 reroll, upgrade, upgrade, upgrade. I was like, I don't even care what I'm upgrading right now. I think as you get more different types of minions, you'll probably pay a little bit more attention to like what you're upgrading. Because
Yeah.
you might have a minion that's like one away from becoming the champion, the full upgrade. So you might want to focus on that one. But at least in the run I was doing, I was just buying everything, which is fun.
Well,
But yeah,
I
so
will, I will
yeah.
say that it was like kind of like the most satisfying thing, right? Like to like get through a room and there's like time to spend some money and ching, 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 ching,
Oh
ching.
yeah.
But also it's worth noting the other I played as one of the other characters, and the other character, interesting enough, can only recruit champions. So like
Oh,
so
how
like
does that work?
they're all like 170 coins.
Oh, I
So
see.
you
So you're
start
only
with
presented with champions.
yeah. So like you're
Ah,
not even really re-roll. I mean, like the re-roll is a little bit more. You kind of want to like do that in a different kind of way, right? So like
mm,
it seems like every character is like will approach the game differently, which is kind of neat as
yeah,
well. So
cool.
yeah, like I got this one, oh man, I got this one unit that like is doesn't attack, it only buffs up, gives your guys strength. And I was like, is this going to be good? And then I was at the point where it's like my other characters were so strong because this guy was just going like that, that, that.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
um,
What was he
yeah,
doing to them? What was that?
don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. But moving on to the story, there's like a little bit of a cutscene when you start the game, and then also when you win a run, kind of giving some flavor to these characters. This idea that they've kind of like escaped the bone world, and they've beaten these flesh like creatures. It's not really much of a story, but there is plenty to like look at. Like I think like there's different like a bestiary where you can read about all the different units
Yeah,
and enemies and stuff like that, which is really neat for those who want to kind of like get a feel for this world, because it does look really cool, right? And it's certainly like nothing of this feels out of place in this game, which is nice. So,
yeah.
but that's all I really have to say about the story.
Yeah, I don't think, like you said, there's those little cutscenes. I don't really think it's like needed in a game like this. It's obviously a nice to have. I think if they wanted to expand on it, maybe there could be characters you find or minions you find on a run that talk to you and they ask you to do a quest. And if you do the quest, you unlock that minion kind of thing. If they wanted to integrate a little dialogue into the runs, they could. But also, then there's the whole like, it's time limited, or there's a timer. So does the time freeze when you talk to them? There's like a lot of questions, but they could expand on it if they wanted to. I don't think it's a game where it needs to do that. It was just kind of a nice to have. So yeah, I don't have a lot of more notes on the story either.
Yeah, and moving on to the visuals, I think this is probably where this game kind of really shines a lot. Like we'll get people to hop in, because even just seeing like the trailer for it, I was like, that skull, that floating head looks awesome. And then
Yeah,
you see all the other, minions with them, and you're like, oh, this is so sick. It just looks really clean. Coming from 8-bit Skull, I was not surprised, right? Like we really love board blasters. It's just great pixel art,
yeah,
and they're it's no different here. I think a lot of this looks great. I think I wouldn't say there's any like real complaints about the UI, but like it does take a second to understand the UI. But once I got like the hang of it, I was like totally fine. I was like, you don't really have to pay attention to it a lot, anyways. Like this is gonna like, especially the difficulty hourglass. Yeah, it's gonna get difficult.
yeah,
like
yeah,
like I'm and it's more about like kind of keeping track of how difficult it got, and then for people who want to like speed run it too and stuff like that. But um, yeah, no real complaints though with how this game looks. I mean, I played a couple of the other areas; they looked really neat. You spent a lot of time in the first area, the catacombs. when you first start playing because it's all you have access to. But you know, the environments do look good elsewhere, and the character design I think is excellent. And like I think it do a good job of like focusing more on the character design of the minions. I think that's like because they're a little bit
Hmm.
more the star of the show, and you got these like weird fleshy, strange enemies that are also I think well designed, but you want to see how these minions look as you upgrade them.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm with you. I think there's a lot of positives with the art here. Obviously, like the gameplay looks really cool, and uh, the character design. It's also it's not hard to see like the health for your minions versus the enemies. I was curious
Mm-hmm.
if that would be like an issue if they'd kind of blend a little bit too much. Even though the health bars are pretty small, it's like super easy, like at a glance, to be like, all right, we don't have a lot of health. Even if you weren't looking at that like little bar on the bottom. Really, my only it's not like an issue because, like you said, you can kind of get used to it. But like with the UI, some things are just like really big. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you pick up an upgrade like right here, and it's just like there I feel like there's a lot of wasted space and like the accept and the reject buttons are like on the bottom of the screen. I feel like it could be a little tighter, kind of where it's like
Mm-hmm.
I don't need it to take up that much space. It almost feels like it was kind of designed for like a couch co-op sort of thing where it's on a TV maybe. But I just feel like that could be tightened up a little bit where maybe it's just a little bit more centered up on the screen kind of thing, but again, it's not really something that affects the gameplay, anything like that. You get used to it really quickly. But that was really the only thing with the UI that I had any issue with. I think the map's well done. It looks really cool. I was kind of, it kind of has like that Diablo style loot, right? Where it's not like
Mm-hmm.
Vampire Survivors where you're picking up something and it's like a slot machine. It's like the rarity of the thing that you're about to pick up. At least, if it's just a drop from like an enemy or chest or whatever. But yeah, I think that the coolest thing for me with the art is the portal. It's so
Oh yeah.
cool. As you go towards the portal and when you get like right on it, the whole even like the UI, everything kind of gets like sucked in. And then like there's a big
Yeah.
there's a big like skull gate kind of thing, like stone wall that like
Mm-hmm.
closes and then it brings you to the next screen. Very cool. And I also realized, which reminded me of Gauntlet Dark Legacy, you can go on the portal and then like walk right off of it too. Like, so you
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
to stay on there for a few seconds. So if you're on there for just a second, you'll just see everything start to warp and then you can like walk away. Very cool and well done. I'm glad that it's not as soon as you hit the portal, you're just like teleport, you're just in that next area because there might be something where as soon as you're about to get to like you can just see it right there actually on screen. Boom. Like that's so cool. I'm glad because there were times where I was like about to go in the portal. I'm like, oh, I didn't get that chest, and like I just go and get it, and then I can leave. So I think that's just really well done. Yeah, I think the art overall is like a real winner for this game. It also kind of attracted me as well to wanting to play it. So yeah, really really well done. Uh, and just the small little kind of changes I would make with the UI, but you know, you get used to it pretty quickly.
Yeah. Now moving on to the sound and the music, the music is very reminiscent of actually Board Blasters, like kind of this like, 80s kind of metal. It's just cool. I think it, works with this vibe. It's not really like my favorite kind of music, but if I'm like controlling an army of skulls,
Yeah.
I think that probably fits pretty well. So, I think a lot of people are going to really, really like that soundtrack. Uh, all the sound effects are great. I love that, like, because you have a button that you can kind of press to get your minions to come to you, and you're like, here or like to me, and like
Yeah.
you can do that, which is pretty cool. Um, some nice little like some nice little touches there, but like you said, even when like that clamp thing happens down, it's like just like good sounding things. And then when you're actually in the shop and like buying more guys and like they're upgrading, it's very satisfying. You're like,
Yeah.
let's go and buy them all, you know. So really, really neat. There's even some like, because like in the early game, you kind of have like mostly like regular like melee minions and like ranged minions, but like as you unlock new minions, like I got like a ice wizard that when like they get upgraded to a champion, they're blasting this ice beam like
Mm.
every like so often, and the sound is so cool, and it also looks really great on the screen as well. So really, really neat stuff here.
Nice. Yeah, I haven't gotten that ice beam guy. He sounds cool. But yeah, I really, I think the sound design is good. I like the sound effects more than the soundtrack overall because it's also not my usual kind of music, but it's totally fine. I mean, like when you think of Skull Horde and you look at the gameplay, like that's the
Yeah.
kind of music I'd probably expect anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no issues with sound effects or anything. You know, I think if you're looking at this game without the sound on, you might think that all those big battles of like all your minions versus all the enemies could maybe get a little like mixed up, a little like audio vomit
Yeah.
kind of, right, where it's just a lot of things at once, but it doesn't really happen. I kind of think of like, even though I like it in Nine Kings, there's like a lot of sounds that happen at once when they're all fighting, and like there's a lot of sound effects that can happen. This game I wasn't really getting like too much sound, or like it wasn't all kind of mashed together essentially, where it was a little confusing. So yeah, I think the sound design was good in the game. I like it. I like it.
Yeah. Awesome. And it performed well for me. I played it on desktop. I think it's Steam Deck verified as well. You played on desktop as well?
Yeah, I did. And I played with mouse and keyboard, and worked well. I actually didn't realize either that you could just use the mouse until like the last room I was in
Oh,
for
really?
my run. I was using WASD, so I think it's cool you can use both. But I was just using my keyboard for moving around. So it's
Oh,
cool you
yeah.
can
I was
just
using a
use the mouse.
controller.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, it's cool. You can just like you can literally just make this super casual and just use the mouse for everything, which is
Mm-hmm.
which is nice. So yeah, but no performance issues for me.
Sweet. Well,
Yeah.
let's get to the final rating, folks. Our
Woo.
ratings are as follows: certified fresh juice. These are our Balatros of the world, boar blasters, animal wealth, stuff like that. You got a steel, things like Chesarama, Born of Bread, the Cub. I'm just reading off all. These are good games. They're not like the cream of the crop. These are games that are good, not perfect, but we definitely still recommend them. We have on sale after that, which is usually games that we're kind of mixed on, and maybe if you want to wait till it goes on sale, or if what we complain about those games doesn't sound like a deal breaker to you, you should probably check it out. And then Manager Special, these are pretty niche games that weren't really for us, or there's a lot wrong with it, or we don't really feel like it's worth the value, so you might want to wait till it's on a deep discount or even free to play. And then Spoiled Milk, these are games we don't recommend for anybody.
Yeah.
I
Go
will
ahead.
start.
Start it off.
Skull Horde is a certified fresh juice for me. I love this game. This is just so much fun. This is doing so many things right, and it's giving me a fresh take on a couple different genres, I felt like. And doing it in a way that doesn't overwhelm you and like gives you a clear path to like unlockable stuff. And like we didn't even really talk about the skill trees, but like the skill tree is like pretty neat too. So like I think that it's a great game. I recommend it, and it's like not a bad price either. So yeah, certified fresh juice.
So I'm going to be a lot lower on it than you, I think. No,
Okay.
no, I'm just kidding. I'm giving it a certified fresh juice as well. I think that this is a great evolution of the survival like genre, where we've played a
Mm-hmm.
lot of different survival likes. There's ones that we played that they try new things. I think having that kind of auto battler feel with minions, that alone is just super satisfying. I'd love to see some other games try something like that out as well. But yeah, I'm giving Certified Fresh Juice to Skull Horde. I think, the real only issue I had with the game was just that minor UI thing. Everything else was just a ton of fun. I'm excited to play more of it. I think it'll definitely be a kind of like a on the go sort of game for me with Steam
Mm-hmm.
Deck, maybe even on the Thor too. I don't know if it'll run on there, but I think, yeah, I think it's a lot of fun. So Certified Fresh Juice double edition.
Woo!
There we
I
go.
love it. Very, very cool. Next week will be just probably game talk. I got a busy week coming up with work, so I don't know if I'll be able to play much. I'm kind of hoping to get some time with uh, what was it? Escaped? No, what was it called? Oh,
It's
Replaced.
replaced. Yeah.
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 But we'll see. We do have listener questions. First one comes from Coppola, which we kind of answered this, but Coppola asked, any games that stood out to you from the Triple I? I mean, for me, I put down Clover Pit DLC, Graveyard Keeper 2, Crop, Neverway, and Lost Railway.
Yeah. I put down Prove You're Human Spacecraft. I didn't talk about that one earlier, but it seemed like a cool kind of space survival-y game, sort of. Machine Party, Winrows, Astroneer, Expedition, Solarpunk, Valor Mortis, Long Gone, Graveyard Keeper 2, and We Were Here Tomorrow. Some of those I already knew about. So if there was one that like was brand new to me, probably Long Gone was like the one I never heard of that looked like the coolest that I'm excited to play. So, yeah, but and Prove You're Human just because I want to know what's going on in that game. But yeah, yeah.
Cool, cool, cool. Bags asks, what is your favorite sports logo, excluding any of your favorite teams?
Oh my God. Well, one of them that comes to mind is the Milwaukee Brewers logo. I know, Bags, you have a hat that has this, but it looks like a baseball glove and it says
Mm-hmm.
MB. That's just really cool. Um, I'm trying to think of like
Hmm.
other ones that I'm I'm thinking of logos. Like there's some uniforms I really like. Like I like the Minnesota Vikings uniform. I think it's cool.
Okay.
Because especially since like the lettering has like the little kind of horns, like it's a serif font. So I think that's cool, but not I don't really care about their logo that much. Um, I'm trying to think of some other ones that I really think are cool. I also like the was it like the Kraken that with
The
the
Seattle
cricket?
Kraken.
Yeah, that's a cool logo for sure. What about you? Anything come to mind?
I own multiple pieces of Minnesota Wild merch
Mm,
because I love that logo, but I'm not like a Minnesota Wild fan per se.
yeah.
I think that one looks sick. The old Arizona Coyotes, I mean, obviously now it's the Mammoth, Utah Mammoth, but the old Arizona Coyote logo was awesome. The new one sucked, but like that classic Coyotes
Yeah.
um, logo was cool. I like trying to think of like a baseball one.
Yeah, baseball is tough. I mean, that one, but that's not like a main logo. Thinking of like,
Yeah, but it is cool. I think it
yeah,
probably. I think
uh, yeah, it's
I don't know.
tough.
Yeah, baseball. Like I think I do kind of like the Miami Marlin logo. That one's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
football
Expos.
really. Yeah, the old Expos logo was really neat.
Yeah.
But like I don't know if I just like that because it doesn't exist anymore. You know what I'm saying? You're just
Yeah.
like, oh,
I
I
feel you.
remember the Expos.
Yeah.
But um I think football doesn't really have that great of logos in general.
Hey.
Like they like it's the big it's like they all have the angry like mascot facing one way or whatever, you
Yeah.
know. And then the Eagles get to go face the other way, but it's still an angry
Yeah.
mascot.
But it
The
has an E
classic
in it for
it,
Eagles. That's why it
yeah.
faces that way. There you
Yeah.
go. No, I like the old Eagles logo more than the new one. I like from
Yeah.
like the 80s or whatever. But yeah. Um,
Mm.
I don't know. Like the
The
for
classic
football,
Toronto Raptors logo is pretty sick with the Velociraptor like dribbling.
yeah.
That one's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's a good one. I like the old Patriots logo too, like just the
Yeah.
Patriot, like that. But I feel like I'm more into like the throwback logos than any of the modern ones. Um, yeah,
Yeah, you don't see a lot of good new logos. I think the Seattle Kraken is probably the best example because
yeah,
it has the Space Needle kind of embedded in it too, which is pretty neat.
yeah. My problem is like a lot of new logos feel like they were like a template that like they just changed the
Yeah.
color. Like it's just kind of that generic face looking thing. Uh, or obviously maybe like AI. But I feel like a lot of sports logos, when at least when a team reveals a new uniform or logo, it loses a little bit of the character these days because it's like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, we want to make it more minimal or whatever. Like yeah, just I don't know. It's got to be, if it's going to be minimal, it's got to have like detail into it. That's like the Seattle Kraken logo. I feel like it's kind of minimal, but it's
Mm-hmm.
got some depth to it. Um, so yeah, I don't know. It's a good question. What
Yeah.
about you,
I was,
Bags? What are your favorite logos that aren't your favorite teams?
There's some that are just iconic that they're not like great, but like they're just iconic. Like I'm looking like the Chicago Bulls, right?
Yeah,
That's just an iconic logo. I look at that. I look at the Yankees logo, right? But that's obviously my favorite team. But like that is classic. The Miami Heat has a really cool logo, right?
yeah,
Just that like freaking flaming fireball going through the
yeah,
the hoop, and then I don't like the Boston Celtics, but it's it's a banger. It is a classic.
yeah,
So
yeah. It is. And I think, speaking of this in general, I saw someone mention this on Twitter and I was like, oh, this is like kind of a cool idea. I don't know how it would be, but like with Pittsburgh, right? All of their major sports teams are the same color scheme. And someone was
yeah,
like,
oh yeah,
that's
yeah.
how it should always be. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and because like for Philly, it's like all different, it's like the
Yeah,
Sixers are like red, white, and blue. The Phillies are like red and white.
yeah.
Eagles are
Red and
green.
cream.
Yeah. And so it's just like,
Yeah,
I was just trying to imagine like what color would they choose, and all of it would look weird across all the sports, whatever color. Like if the Eagles were red, white, and blue, or if the
yeah.
Celtics or the Sixers were like midnight green, it would all look weird. But I agree with that though. I feel like Pittsburgh does it right, with the
Yeah,
colors being across the board, and I wish more cities would do that.
I would lose my mind if Pittsburgh got a NBA team and they didn't do the colors.
Right, yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like it's like blue and green or like something in
Yeah.
black. It's just like, what is going
Yeah.
on here?
Oh man, but thanks for the question, Bags. I always like talking logos because like there's some like good old school ones, but um,
Yeah.
not so many good new ones, right? But we do have a question from K Moore who asks, "What voice actor other than Morgan Freeman would you want narrating your life, much like Hades?"
Um, Narrating my life. Oh, I probably would want what's his name? Uh Hold on, I'm gonna look it up real quick. Stephen Merchant. Probably him. Because he just makes me laugh, and I just think
Yeah.
of Wheatley from Portal, and like every anything else he's in. I like his voice and the way he like says things. So probably him. Yeah, I'll go with him.
Oh man, I don't know. I feel like Danny DeVito would be a good one. I just for me anyway, it just like kind of fits what's going on.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, Danny DeVito. Golly, what about somebody? Tom Hardy would be kind of funny. Just
Yeah.
do like that would be kind of interesting. Yeah, I don't know. Danny McBride. I'm sorry.
Oh
That
my
should be.
god. Oh
Yeah,
my
that would
god.
be.
That would be great. Yeah.
That would be insane. But thanks for the questions, everyone. We're going to take a trip down to the rec room where we recommend something that perhaps isn't an indie game. And then we're going to say goodbye. What do you have to recommend this week?
I'm recommending, I might have recommended them before. I know I'm partnered with them, but I just want to recommend them again. It's Nodecraft. They are a server hosting company. So if you want to get like survival game server or whatever, they have a bunch of different games. But the reason I'm recommending them is because when I got an early key for Winrows, I knew they would be supporting it, and I reached out to them and I was like, "Hey, is there any way I could get like an early server?" They gave me like an early version of their server before it launched. I was having some issues with it and stuff. They literally fixed so many things like within minutes of me messaging them. Like I'd be like, "Oh, like I can't take my weapons out in the game. I think I need to update the server, but there's no option for it." And then they gave me an answer and I updated the server and it I lost everything disappeared and I was like, "Oh no." So I messaged them. They're like, "Oh, they're working." Like they were literally working on my server
Wow.
as I did it. Like, yeah, it's just amazing support, especially since like I'm not the biggest creator that they have by far, that's partnered with them, and they still respond to me like immediately. Anytime there's like any issues that like some of the guys in the group chat might have with the server, I'll be like, "Oh, let me ask Nodecraft," and like within like 30 minutes, I'm already like it's already solved. So just shout out to them. You know, they're a smaller company compared to some of the other server hosting companies, but I think like their customer support is like second to none. So shout out to Nodecraft. Use code Matty Gorm, 30% off your first order. But seriously, like even if you don't use my code, I still think they're awesome. So yeah, just want to give a shout out to them because it just I'm not used to, you know,
Good service?
being yeah, good like being partnered with a company first off, and then like them caring enough to like respond to me that quickly as if I'm like Northern Lion or so, you know, where I'm like,
Yeah.
I got tons of people waiting on me. Like, it's like, no, I got two friends that are like waiting on me and they're like, we'll fix it right away. So it's really nice of them. So shout out to Nodecraft.
That's a sign of a good company. A customer is a customer,
Yeah.
just like treat them all the same. So, um, very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
I'm recommending a TV show. I had started seeing clips of this show on like TikTok, and I had seen some comedians that I had recognized in it, and I was like, "Oh, this kind of seems kind of funny." The clips I was seeing were funny, so Lady Fresh and I had sat down. We watched the second season first. It's like a reality show kind of, but basically they take 10 comedians and they put them in a room, and they say, once the game starts, you're not allowed to laugh
Okay.
or smile. So they all have to try and make each other laugh for like 6 hours.
Yeah.
And it is like, it's such a great concept for a show. And it's just so funny to like see them, first of all, try not to laugh, but also like see what they like try to do to get these other people to laugh. Like they have to do these things called a joker. Basically, like everybody has to come prepared with one performance, right?
Okay.
So like they'll get called to do the performance in one of the episodes. They'll go up on this little mini stage. Everybody has to watch it, and then it's the most unhinged thing usually. They're just like doing crazy stuff, and it is good TV. It is good TV. We've watched both seasons
Nice.
now. In the first season, because mostly UK based comedians, so it's like I don't really know a lot of them. But in the first season, Richard Ayoade, who was from
Yeah.
the IT crowd, he was in that, and he was really good. And then in this the second season, which we watched first, Alan Carr was in it. If you know Alan Carr, he was on the Celebrity UK Traders, very funny comedian. And then also David Mitchell, who I knew from this show called Peep Show. And then also this Australian comedian who I think is just so funny, Sam Campbell. And Sam Campbell just is the weirdest person there. So
Mhm.
like it was funny to see him just be weird. And
Yeah.
it's like I would have lost immediately. Like
And
with
what
that.
happens like Is I guess it comes down to two people then, and then
Yeah, yeah,
okay.
typically, yeah. So like it's all within 6 hours. So all like so basically, if you laugh, they'll pause the game,
Or
they'll come in,
smile, right?
laugh or smile.
Wow.
Like they're a little bit looser on the smiles, but they laugh and like they get pretty strict on like as the game goes on. But like they'll pause the game. Anybody can laugh while the game's paused. They come in, they'll give them a yellow card, and then if they laugh again, they'll get the red card and they have to leave.
Gotcha.
So they're not really playing for anything like other than like a fake trophy.
Okay.
So like it's like it's just insanity. Like especially towards the end, right?
Yeah.
They're like 6 episodes long and they're like 30 minutes each or whatever. So like at the end, like the people that are lasting, like almost like have forgotten how to laugh. They're just
Okay.
like so locked in. So like the most like they're like delirious.
Yeah.
So
That's good.
it's interesting. Good game.
Yeah, I just looked it up. There's like a bunch of them in a bunch of countries that.
Oh yeah. That's why I said the UK.
Sweden. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, I'm
I'll have to
wondering
check it out.
if the US will try to do it. I don't know if the style of humor would really work, but like I think they'd probably be able to find some people.
It would just be people like yelling. Just like
yeah.
I just feel like it would be, I don't know. It depends on the types of comedians that they would get.
Yeah.
There's
They get a
some
nice
that-
variety.
Okay, yeah. Like,
Yeah. They'll get like stand-up comedians and they'll get like weird like alternative comedians. Then they'll get like, people who are just known for being in comedy like television shows and stuff
okay.
like sitcoms.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good. You're
anyway.
on a reality show kick, aren't you?
Yeah, I guess they're just easy to just like you just can blow
Turn your
through
brain
them.
off. Yeah.
Yeah, turn your brain off. But this is like reality TV adjacent because like this is just like I could have seen this on Comedy Central like years ago.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
but
Cool.
Anywho, I think it's on Prime if anybody's interested, or you can watch it illegally. I don't care. That's what we did. But that's going to do it for the show, folks. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. A nice banger of a game this week. You can find me on socials at Fresh Buds Pod. I have another podcast called Fresh and Buds where I talk about the hit TCG Flesh and Blood trading card game. The Pro Tour was this past weekend, so I'll be talking about that on the show. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get anybody to come on the show this week because a lot of people were traveling to the Pro Tour. It was in Yokohama, Japan, so not a lot of people are back, and I don't feel like asking people who are going to be jet lagged to come on a podcast because that would be miserable. So I might go solo this week because I'm working a lot and I just need to make the time work.
Nice.
But I don't miss a week, folks. Don't miss a week. But you can find us on all socials at Fresh Juice Pod. Where can people find you?
Find me at Matty Gorm on all the socials. I got some Winrows content going up tomorrow when the game launches, so be on the lookout for that if you're interested.
I am interested.
Oh!
I can't wait. Fresh Juice, deactivate.